Alright, hello everyone. I am back with another video, and today I just want to talk about an observation, um, poss possibly, and kind of like how I felt as a woman being in the organization. And I wanted to talk about Proverbs 31, and as the society would call it, a capable wife. Sorry, I have notes. It's quite a few. But yeah, a capable woman. The Bible describes the capable wife, actually, excuse me. The capable wife. And I heard that, read it several times. I think they came out, of course, once a year. Definitely talking about it. I actually did take some time and went on jw.org and looked at some of the articles that what they were discussing about a capable wife. And I just want to say the only reason I'm bringing it up is because of the discouragement that I got about educating myself as a woman. So, first, I want to talk about I read the King James version of it. I read the New World Translation version of it too, but I read the King James version of it once I left the Kingdom Hall. I actually did take the time to, once I left Kingdom Hall, a couple of years later though, maybe a year, later, or within a year, I actually decided to get a King James Bible, and I read it from cover to cover. And I simply just read it. I just read it for what it was. No critiquing it, no I didn't even take notes. I literally just read it like I would read a book. And so when I read the King James Bible version of a Proverbs 31 woman, a capable woman, I just thought she was like, I said, this is a woman that's an entrepreneur. I mean, she had servants, which means, basically now she has a staff. And I thought, how awesome. Um, I went ahead and put it in Google, and AI pops up. And I put in Proverbs 31 and just press enter. And AI said that, she was a woman, and basically she had a small scale textile business, and she was selling linen garments and sashes to merchants, and that she had manufacturing. She was dealing with manufacturing and trade, and that she had a textile business working with wool and flax, that she created garments with on a spindle, which makes thread. And then she had a merchandising business because she was selling her products. And then she also was a landowner because she purchased a piece of land and turned that into a vineyard. And then she also was a charitable woman. She gave to the poor and to the needy. So now you consider that like a nonprofit that helps the misfortunate, the unfortunate, people who need help. So basically, she was an entrepreneur. She was a woman who owned her own business. She was an entrepreneur. She had a staff, and even with the materials that she dealt with was flax, which is linen, and wool and silks and tapestries, which is like carpets and comforters and curtains and bedding that's made with this linen and wool and just to me top of the line. So she had top of the line materials that she provided for her family, and then she also of course turned a profit because she was also selling this, so making money. And then she had a staff. So with that business that she owned herself, she was able to employ others so that they could make a living to take care of their family, which would happen to also be other women because it's a female servants. So I was wondering why I did not perceive it that way when I was looking at the New World Translation. Like, why didn't I perceive it that way? But I went ahead and that's why I looked up the other articles. Looked up some articles, and there in the very beginning, it was with some of the Watchtower magazines or Awake magazines, and I think one was even the All Scriptures Inspired book. Like the All Scriptures Inspired book, just like to me, played down her achievement and definitely encouraged not working, like just staying home and making sure that you just lived a modest lifestyle. Because it literally, one of the articles started out with, she learns to be thrifty and living modestly. And just that sentence alone just made me feel a certain type of way. But by no means am I saying that family's not important. I'm a mother and I'm also a wife. So I understand the importance of a woman being home and taking care of her family. And giving birth is no joke. Taking care of children is no joke. It requires a lot of time and energy. But my point for this is that the Proverbs 31 woman that they always would hold up for us to implement ourselves after, that's the type of woman that we need to be to support our husbands in the truth. And yet, that woman, she was an entrepreneur. She had her own business. She legitimately had her own business. She had a staff. And it speaks of how proud her husband was of her. And also the fact that the beginning of Proverbs, it is actually the mother telling her son the type of woman that he should seek, the type of woman he should want to have. So another woman, which was her mother-in-law, is what that would have been, was letting him know that, you need a woman that's going to know how to run your household, and not only run your household, make money, right? Make money. And so owning a business and being an entrepreneur, you have to have a certain level of intelligence and education. So these were educated women, and also educated women who actually had a certain standard. I mean, they're running around in linen. I love linen. Linen's not cheap, it's expensive. Wool, I love wool. Wool is not cheap, it's expensive. A wool coat, have you seen Dillard's is my favorite store. A wool coat in Dillard's. I want to say the last one I saw was $400. Well, to me, that's expensive because. But anyway, for me, that's expensive. I don't have the other money, but a wool coat. And then silks. So she wasn't dealing with cheap cheap materials that wasn't in high demand, because she was trading, and she was trading with merchants, ships that were coming in, making money, things that were going out, imports and exports. The woman was making some money. She was an entrepreneur wholeheartedly. And I was just trying to figure out why is it I didn't see that way when I was sitting at the Kingdom Hall reading the Bible, and their version of what they put, and then how it does state all those things, but it was never harped upon, at least the way I remember, that this woman was a full-fledged entrepreneur with a staff, a full-fledged, like Google said, she was in manufacturing and the textile business. That's not a little feat. That's not, oh, go work part-time, because a lot of the magazines were like, just work part-time. They were also so that you are, make sure you're home you part-time so you can get the kids off to school, and then work part-time, then leave so you can get the kids back, and then also so you can get home to make sure you do everything that your husband needs you to do, and then make sure you're always available for all the meetings and all the field service and everything. So yeah, they would say work if need be because you might need two parent income because of the economy and inflation and things like that. But on the flip side, within the same magazine and the same article, they would want to talk about how a woman going to work can actually destroy marriage, or a woman going to work, the kids are going to suffer because they've already been out in the world all day in class, and now you need to deprogram them from what the world has programmed them with. And then household chores. So then, like it literally said that she's gone to work, she's come home, and then her kids are sitting there hungry, and her husband's sitting there hungry, and now she's rushing in and she's tired, and now she has to prepare for her family. So they're saying, yeah, you can go to work, but in the end, it's just going to cause more problems. So as you're reading the magazine, you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't go to work because it's actually going to be more work for me. No, but yet you need the money. But yet, if you were an entrepreneur or had an education, a higher education that pays you more an hour, so you don't have to work as much to make the money to help out your family. But my whole point is that they did articles on it and they did talk about she was industrious, but they didn't do it on this level of that. Um, and I just thought how I think there was to me a method to the madness. Like the women should be home. I know I read one from 1970, 77, I think it was, which literally says a woman's place is in the home, and that was a magazine from 1977. And then one actually stated, I mean, the titles for Proverbs 31 were like "Find Workers at Home," and then another one says "Should a Woman Work?" That was 1977, and single. Um, oh, this is what I put. Now, of course, if you were a single woman or a widow, then of course they understood you had to work. There was no ill consequences of having to work because you were single or because you're a widow. But if you had a husband, then there was going to be ill consequences because you needed to go to work because you're basically neglecting your other duties because you are at work. Because they even pointed out that, like, what they considered luxuries because we should just work enough to provide the necessities. So they even mentioned that going out to eat and stylish clothes and what else was there? But those were things that were just considered a luxury and not a necessity. Oh, it was a lavish home. So if you wanted a lavish home, if you wanted to go out to eat or stylish clothes, then that's extra. That you didn't need to go to work for stuff like that. And it's like they were just to me painting this picture of low expectations and always stressing wait on Armageddon, wait on paradise, and then you can have all those things. And to me, if you did not prepare for what ifs, and yes, they were saying Armageddon was coming, but your husband could lose his job, and you have no skill set to even help with that, or um, putting all that putting all the hope into Armageddon or paradise, earth, and just how do I want to say it? Just living, just getting by, just living enough to get by. And I just thought that was just so unfair and so ridiculous because again, I did talk about in a video about how well the brothers were living and their the WTS and at the buildings, especially the one in New York, everything was taken care of for them. Everything. They didn't have to deal with the outside world. They didn't have to deal with the stress of the outside world. Um, so for them to tell their members to only work enough to get by and don't want nicer things was just ridiculous to me. But that's what I came to talk about was Proverbs 31 and how those of you who are thinking about becoming a Jehovah's Witness, I suggest that you read the King James Bible and compare it to the Watchtower and Tract Society and see how they have changed, or worded it in a different way. I'll just say that, and compare the two, and see how it resonates with you. Because I feel like they definitely downplayed the capabilities of a woman in a marriage, or just period. So that's what I want to point out with this video, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.